Hey all, hope you all are doing good. So today we are going to learn about blind SQL injection. So far we have done is SQL injection, union attacks and all. Okay. So there what was happening is based on the query that we are giving, we were getting response and that was getting rendered back on the browser. Agree? So far it is clear, but it is like in very olden days or very old website those kind of attacks were there, but now what is happening is all the query and the condition is handled in the business logic and then the output is coming into the response. So for example, you are an administrator, so based on your credential, based on your session id, based on your cookies, so based on your auth or token or anything. Okay, so if the business logic is identifying that you are an administrator, you will be redirecting to a different UI. Similarly, if you are having different role, you will be redirected to a different UI. So we are going to use such kind of things, and we are going to write our own query. Okay, it might be a OR logic, AND logic, union, intersect, some of the other logic. Okay, so that is nothing but conditional logic. So when we add those kind of logics and we see the difference in the response, that's how we understand. Okay, if this is the situation, this is happening, this is the condition, this is happening. So using those things we are going to apply the SQL injection. So the difference here is we are not going to get the direct response onto the browser or the response, but we are going to have like a conditional wise response. Okay, so if this is the situation, this is the response what we are getting, but not the output of that query. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now coming back to the agenda. So by the end of today's video, what you will learn is two things. First is what is blind SQL injection. If you have understood the explanation, well and good. If not, it's fine. We'll go to the lab and then we'll try to implement all the steps and you'll get it. No doubt in that. And second thing, so far what we have used is something called a repeater, right? But in today's lab, we are going to understand what is intruder. Okay, so that's how we are going to explore one by one features of the burp suite. So today it is intruder is what we are going to learn. So with the help of intruder we can like modify the payload. Like if I want to execute 100 requests, right? If I go with the repeater, I need to click go 100 times, which is not feasible, right? So if I go with the intruder part, it will help me in the those kind of things. So for better understanding, I can take an example of brute force, right? So I can do brute force attack using an intruder. Okay, so yeah, that was all about our agenda, and today we are going to learn about blind SQL injection and the intruder part. If you are already aware of this, please go to the next video in this playlist. Otherwise, yes, let's get started. So let me uh, redirect to the lab part. Yeah, here you go. So blind SQL injection with conditional responses. Let's access the lab. Oh my God. Yeah. This was the problem statement, right? So what is our problem statement is the lab contains a blind SQL injection vulnerability. Okay. How to find and all, just keep that aside for that is not under the scope of this video. We are going to see how to manipulate that. Okay, and just keep in mind this is for educational purposes. Don't use it for unethical purposes. Okay, yeah. So the application uses a tracking cookie for analytics. You remember so far we used to write our union queries and all those stuffs in the category value, right? So now they are suggesting that it is there in cookie value. So in real time, no one is going to tell us like that, right? So here we are simply learning. Even I am learning. Okay. So they are giving us these kind of clues. So in real time, what we are going to do is we are going to use various tools which will even try to manipulate category value. Will try to manipulate session value. It will manipulate cookie values and all the other parameters of the request. Okay, including the type of methods, HTTP encoding, content length, and various other stuff. Okay, we'll go them bit by bit, but for now what it is saying is for this lab we have to focus on something called cookie. Okay, the result of SQL query is not written because it is not SQL, but it is a blind SQL injection, and no error message displayed. But the application includes a welcome back message in the page if the query returns any rows. If the query returns any rows means what? That it got executed and there was some content which was satisfying our where condition or the other condition that we were giving in the as a part of the query. Okay, now the database contains a different table called users. okay, with the column username and password and the administrator. So all this data is very crucial. Just write down all those things that you are getting across the flow in the notepad, so that whenever whatever is required, whatever we accomplish, we'll keep track of it. Okay, now to complete the lab, we need to make sure that we get the password of the administrator, because the task is to log in as the administrator. So previously we have used SQL injection to fetch the password of the administrator and log in. The same thing we have to do by blind SQL injection. Okay, so here is my, yeah, lab. Let me open my burp suite as well. So first thing first, uh, turn on your burp suite proxy configuration and turn on your intercept. So we are done with the setup. Now next thing is click on some accessories. So now you can see here is my category. Now here we will not touch category value, because in the lab problem statement it was clearly mentioned that we have to focus on tracking ID. So tracking ID, as I gave an example, whether you are a legitimate user or you have logged in with your credentials, it basically keeps track of yourself. Now how I know this? I'm just assuming. I don't know, right? Yeah. So let's go to send it to repeater and send it to intruder. So this intruder we are going to make use of it today. So be patient for a while. So for now, let's focus on repeater. So I don't want the browser for now. Let me full screen this. Okay. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is just click on go. Let's see what is the default response. Okay. So default response is this, in which I am getting something called welcome back. Now how I know this? Again, read the problem statement. Okay, so if welcome back is there, it means that it is a proper tracking ID. So what I'll do is I'll simply give some random values, say a. Okay, now let me try to hit it again. Go. Am I getting welcome back? You can see here we have zero matches. Okay, one second, you cannot see this. Let me move my webcam somewhere else. Yeah, now you can see here, you can see zero matches. Okay, now when I give the correct value, that was the previous value, and I click on go, at that time you can see there was one match, right? This welcome back is there, it is here. So this is what the problem statement was saying. If your request is correct, you'll get welcome back as a response, otherwise you won't. Okay, yeah. Now the thing is, we don't want this thing. Okay, so to understand this again, we were using our condition plus 1 equal to 1 is always true, you agree, and I want to comment the remaining part of the query. So that's how I commented it and go. So this is always true, that's why I got welcome back. But is 1 equal to 2? No, right? It is going to be false. So I don't expect the proper response, that is welcome back is not here. So here all of like on the surface level, what the lab is trying to teach us is the response is condition based. When my tracking ID is true, I'm getting a welcome back response, and when my tracking ID is executed as a false in the sense there is no record that it is getting in terms of the query. That's why we are not getting welcome back as a response. So that was our understanding. But our intention is what? Our intention is to get the password of the authorization. So first thing what we will do is we'll write a query. Now we were using the 1 equal to 1 equal to 1. That was not a SQL statement. That's why we were writing or. But now we are going to write a SQL statement. That's why we are going to use union or intersect or something like that. Okay. So as part of problem statement, they said that there is a table called users, which has a column username and a password. Okay, now in real time, if you want to come to this conclusion, we have previously found that what are the columns, data types, how many number of columns are there, and how to get the column names and all. We have done previously, right? So that's why this lab they have given us the column names and number of columns and data types directly, because we don't want to spend time on that again and again, because we know how to get those details. In the previous videos we have done that. Okay, so now we are going to just use the details that is given to us already. So we are going to write a query saying that okay, this is the table and fetch me the row where username is nothing but administrator. So if that is fetching, it means what? That there is a users table in which there is a user existing administrator. If he is not existing, then why to spend a lot of this much complete time on it, right? So we'll write query accordingly. So what is the query? Union. Okay, and then select username comma password from users where username is equal to what? Administrator, right? Let me, I don't know my spelling. Administrator. Is it the correct spelling? Administrator. Sorry, my bad. Administrator. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now at the end of the query, don't forget to mention the comment part. Okay. Now we are good with the query. If this returns welcome back as a response, we can say that there is a users table in which the administrator user exists. Okay. Go. So it is not giving us means the administrator is not existing, or is my spelling wrong? Let me copy the administrator spelling and write it here. Where username is administrator. Go. I think I am forgetting here something. Let's okay. If I hover on this, select username comma password from users where username is administrator. Is it should be like, it should come in single quote or double quote, I guess. Where username. Let me write this single quote only. This was my single quote, and yeah, we are good. So not getting it means the user doesn't exist, or can you check the spellings and all? Okay, I see. The query wise it is correct. So if you remember the union how it works, the left hand side of the query and the right hand side of the query should be having same number of columns, right? And previously we have seen we have kept one equal to one minus minus, still it worked. Okay, and yeah, that is fine. So we can also try to use our previous concepts where we try to see the response of internal server error and all to see what is the number of columns and all, right? So as of now we have the information that it has only one column, so we can write some random statement, or if I don't want anything I can write null and then I can go for it. Okay, and I see that there is one match. Okay, so there is one match in the sense there is a user called administrator. So for example, if I instead of administrator, if I write administrator 1 and go, I don't see any match, means there is no user whose name is administrator 1. Okay, now this is clear. Now we are going to fetch the password in two steps. First step, we are going to see what is the length of that password, and then we are going to use the brute force to find out what is the character at each, like if it is suppose five characters, so we'll use the brute force to find what is the character at what is the value at first character or first place, what is the value at second place. So that's how we are going to find the values at all five places. So that's how we are going to do the login. So for finding this password, what is the general condition? So we are going to say that and length length of password. This column is already given to us in the problem statement, and length of password is equal to 1. Okay, this is what we are going to give. So I click on go. So I don't see a proper response. So if it is a 2, I'll try for 3, I'll try for 4. But if it suppose it is of 500 length, then what will I do, right? So what I can do here is I will send this part. Okay, I'll send this query to my intruder part. So this is, I think you are seeing the intruder for the first time. So just watch it carefully. I'll also go with a slow pace. So I'm simply clicking on send to intruder, and this request will go to the intruder feature of the burp suite. Okay, now I come here and I click on payload. Sorry, position. Forget everything, just click on clear. Okay, now you see the password is one is not working, so I can check for 2, I can check for 3. So the value that is varying here is 1. So I'll simply select the value that is varying here, and I'll click on add. If you can see, click add button, I'll click on that. Okay, now I'm going to go to the payload part. So in payload I tell the intruder. Okay, what are the values that I'm expecting you to insert? So here I'm going to simply add, is there a number? Numbers. Okay, numbers. So I want to start from 1 and I want to end till 30, let's say. Okay, and the step, it's if I give 2 as a step, so it will give 1, then 3, then 5, then 7, and so on. But I'll give it as a step 1, and then is it sequential, everything is fine. Okay, now if you can see, payload count is 30, request count is 30, and there is a possibility that it might give a fraction number as well. So what I'll do is, minimum integer digits is 1, and since I have given the maximum value as 30, I'll give maximum integer digits as 2. Okay, and then minimum fraction digits, I don't want fractions, so I'll keep 0 0, right? And yeah, I think I'm good. Yeah, so now I'll try to hit this. So by clicking on start attack, I can hit this. But before going ahead, how will I identify that which is the correct request? Like when it is a value as 15, it is correct, or when the value is 25, it is correct. How will I identify that? So I'm going to identify that based on the difference in the response. Okay, so let's say I'm getting 20, out of 30, 29 response will be wrong, for suppose, then all those will be of one length, and the 30th one, or I can say the correct one, will be of different length, because it is definitely the correct one is going to have welcome bank and others are not going to have. So here my focus is on the length. Okay, this is just an example. Always it will not work. Just for example, I am taking, sometimes we'll have a different content, sometimes we'll have a different length. That's why within the same video, we are going to consider some other parameter for identifying the correct response as well. Okay, so for now, let's consider the length as our parameter, and let's click on start attack. So we'll wait for a second, and it is preparing for starting an attack. Okay, while it is going on, let me repeat that this is only for the educational purpose. Let me maximize it. All are of same length, so I can assume that all cannot be correct, right? So let's say all of them are wrong. Let it go, let it go. See, you see, status is 200, but okay, I see there is a different response for this. Okay, okay, now remaining I don't want. So I can say there's a different response as 20. So if I click on this and if I click on a request, so in request I can see the value was 20. So based on this, what I can say is the length of the password is 20. Okay, now let me remove this because I know it is 20. Now coming back to this repeater part, let's see, if I keep length as 20, will I get the welcome back part or not? Go. You see, I got it, right? If I keep 21 here, and if I click on go, now there is no match. So here I can say that the length of my password is 20. Now I know the length, I know the username. I need to find the value at each place in the password. Okay. So for that, what I'm going to use, again, we are taking just an example. You can use any number of methods. Okay. So here I'm going to write substring of password. So substring of password requires three parameters. First is the attribute itself. Second is the starting position. I want to start taking or stripping the value from the first place till how many places? One place. That means I'm going to take only one value, and I'm going to say that the value at first place, that is substring of password 1 comma 1, is nothing but a. So here a. So here I'm saying the value that is there in the first place in the password is nothing but a. Let me click on go. I don't see. Let me click on B. Again, I don't see. So like that, I have to do like I have to try all the alphanumeric character for the first place and all the 20. So this is not, I can say, feasible, right? So we are going to again use something called intruder. So I'm going to send this thing to the intruder, and let's see. First thing first. So what is the issue in the position? Let's clear all. I hope the steps are making sense. And then the variable part in the request is nothing but B. So I'm going to select the variable part, and here, okay. Uh, You can take a break because I know there is too much to consume in such a small amount of time. So you can take a break, pause this, and get some freshen ups, and then come back and continue. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now we are going to select the value that is variable, and then I'm going to add this dollar or some sort of symbol. I add it, and the next part is what I have to tell. What are all the values that you need to try? So here I'm only focusing on the first place. Now I'll go to the payloads part, and I'm going to have the simple list. This is by default. So simple list means I can choose from the list. This one, this under the payload option. Okay. So if I go to add from list, I want to check A to Z, that is small case. I also want to check A to Z, that is big case. You can see that is also added here, A to Z. And I also want to check for 0 to 9. Of course, nowadays you have to check for the special symbols and all, but again, this is for learning sake, so the lab is kept simple to understand. Okay, now can I go for payload 62? Yes. So you have seen previously we have considered that the length of the response was different, but now there is like too many payloads. So of course I can filter them as well, but there is other ways of doing that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to option, and I'm going to go for grep match. So if you are familiar with the grep commands or some programming languages where you use grep, I have tried this grep in Linux. I have never used grep anywhere else. So what does grep actually does as per my knowledge is that we tell it, okay, if this is the pattern, that is what you have to fetch from the whole lot of content. Okay, so it's like a pattern matching or pattern fetching. Uh, okay, yeah. So here I'm going to clear everything. Now to differentiate our correct response with the other response was what? Welcome back. Okay, this is the string in the response. Welcome back. So I am adding this. Okay, that's it. So you can see flag result items with response matching this expression. So if there is a response that is in which we can see welcome back, there will be a tick mark in front of it. So okay, let's get on to the start attack. You will get to know. Okay. So yeah, start attack. So at the end of this attack, we'll get to know what is the correct value at the first position. We know that it is of 20 length. Okay. You can see this is the welcome back column. This got added. I can also click on option and I can filter here as well. But yeah, no, yeah, I can filter by clicking here as well, like based on my status code and all. So okay, that you can try as per your requirement. But I can see okay, there is a tick mark on K. So I'll make a note of it in my notepad that my total length is 20 and my first character is K. Okay. Let me close this. I don't need this. Okay. And now I want to check for second character. I'll do the start attack again. Okay, so while this is happening, let me tell you that you can also try to guess the complete password, and you can give the value what what you want to try there. So again, that will take comparatively more time, but we have other alternatives for this as well. But the intention of this lab is to make us understand how we can use different features of this burp suit, and also what is blind SQL injection, and one of the possible methodology which noobs like me can understand in the initial phases. Okay, yeah, let me see if we got anything. Not so far. Overall we have 62 requests for each characters or each place. 42 requests are over out of 62. 47, there's no tick mark, so so far well and good. Is it not? Oh, okay, yeah, I got it one here. I can also do one thing. I can click on this welcome back, and I can see. Okay, so I can sort it. So I can see the next character is one. Okay, I'll do two more. I'll give one more example, and then I'll pause and I'll do all this because I don't want to repeat the same thing again and again, because you must have been already got to know what and how is the process. So my first what I can say value was k, and my second value is 1. Similarly, I'm going to close this, and I'm going to search for the third character, and then I'm going to start attack. Okay, that's it. That is what I'm going to do for next 20 characters, because again, this is not, I can say, in the high tech or the advanced methodology. This is just for the understanding sake. So let's see what is the result, and then I'll pause and I'll try to do for other places, and then I'll get back to you. So let's see what is the response for this. 16 out of 62. Okay, so there's one more thing. So as of now, I am using default, I can say, parameters or configuration to do this attack. So it might be taking one time. You can go to the options part here. If you can see my cursor here, and before launching the attack, you can see set how many threads and you want to use for this attack, and I can say one is the thread, one is like how much time you want to wait before doing the next request. Okay, so by default it will be in some millisecond. Okay, yeah. So our third character is Y. I will note it down. So my first character was K, then I, then Y. Is it Kia something? Okay, fine, no problem. So yeah, just wanted to tell you, if you go to options, and you can find here like number of threads, number of retries, or network failure. So you can try to play with all this. Let me complete my remaining characters and get back to you. So far I have done 19 characters, and for the final character I want to show you this thing. Let me do this. So I want to find the 20th character, start attack, and I don't want to go through all of them. So I'll say I'll write my response here, and it will filter it for me. Okay, though we have tick mark done, but I don't want to go through. So you can see whichever is the correct one, or whichever I can say match with this expression, that will be filtered and shown it to me. Okay, so that was the final character. Let me copy the complete password, and yeah, we can close this. Let me open my browser as well. So we'll try to log in as an administrator and be done with the lab. Yeah, here is our lab, and you remember we had a pending request in the proxy. We have to leave it. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Now let's go to account login, and you can see as of now it is not solved, right? Let me write administrator and the password that we got and login. Don't save. It is solved. So it was a pretty okay. There's a webcam coming on. Let me. Okay. I hope now it is clear. Okay, so it this was a big compared to the one that we have previously done, but it was interesting as per what I have experienced. So if you have liked this lab, oh, I'm sorry, this is of course a good lab. So if you liked my explanation, please do click on subscribe and click on notification bell, and share this with people who are really interested in learning this kind of stuff, because even I am a noob, and while going through this stuff, if I'm coming across anything new, I'm sharing those links in the description. I'm sharing it through videos and all. So if you have any suggestions, if you have any good methods, if you have any alternatives, I'll be more than happy to try hands-on on that. And you can also share with other peoples who are in there in the comment sections. So yeah, that's it for today. If you like my explanation, please do click on subscribe and notification bell. Hope you all have a good day. Stay home, stay safe, and yeah, try to practice as much as you can. Thank you.